Welcome back this afternoon. As you know, this portion of the orientation is going to be introductions of the important people to this program and to the law school. Dean Sawson is here to start off. Dean Sawson is the Dean of Osgoode Hall Law School. He's been the Dean for 3 years. And has spoken to the international business law students at orientations in the past. We're very pleased that he could come down this afternoon and do this for us. So you'll hear from him first, and then I think you've all, or most of you have met Jin Yan Lee and Chuck Gassel, who are the program directors for this program. They will also be your professors, and you will get to know them well. Jin Yan teaches the taxation course, which will be this fall, and Chuck teaches the international finance course in the fall and is also co-teaching the international trade law course in the winter. And you'll hear more details about the academic side of the program from them. I'm going to turn it now over to Lawrence Sawson. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's a real pleasure for me to be here, and I've had the good fortune to welcome each of the international business law classes since I became dean, and this program is such a point of pride for the law school, and also it's a chance to remind you that you're not just coming to a program, but you're joining a terrific community, and it's a community that has the largest group of law students in the country, and we think the best group of law students in the country, and that includes a very vibrant JD program and an extremely active graduate program located both here and, of course, up at our main campus, which I think you're going to see tomorrow, if my memory serves, and I hope the sun keeps shining. And in addition, this program in particular, we think we have a tremendous amount to offer. We think you'll learn a lot, of course, from the substantive law courses, but we also think you'll get a wonderful introduction into both the Canadian legal community, the academic community. But what makes this program so special is our recognition of how much we have to learn from you, how much comes from this mixture of backgrounds and expertise, energy and passion, and I think it contributes a huge amount to the school, and it's part of what makes this group such a special one in terms of the alumni now after is this the 5th year or the 5th year? So 4 years of successful graduates, and we get to see their careers flourishing, and some in fact are back today to tape some videos on their experience, and I'm going to join them to share some reflections. So it's wonderful to see the future of the program here, and as I said, I hope you'll take advantage of the whole community at Osgoode and at York University. Hope you'll feel very much a part of that and very much included in all the activities and more importantly in that spirit and culture that makes Osgoode such a distinctive and we think pretty wonderful place. So with that, I hope you enjoy the fun parts, and of course that you've rolled up your sleeves for the hard-working parts, and you'll hear more about that balance from the instructors now. But I hope I get a chance to meet each of you, and there are a few occasions coming up that are more social and more relaxed. I only come when it's fun, and there's a few fun occasions coming soon, so I'll look forward to meeting you individually. But until then, I hope you have a fantastic experience, and let me leave you in the capable hands of Professor Jin Yan Lee and Chuck Gassel, and have a great afternoon. With that, see you later.
Me? Okay.
Both of you.
Yes. Do we?
Go ahead, Jin Yan, I'll follow.
Okay. My name is Jin Yan Lee. I'm the co-academic director of the program. Professor Gassel is my partner in crime in this running this program. I'm very happy to see you here today, and I've been teaching in the program for a couple of times. I've been the director from the beginning, so it's always been very enjoyable to get to know you and see how much transformation the program can do for you, and the year of experience can do for you from, you know, today until you graduate. On convocation, most of our students look like different people, and they're just 1 year they see the transformation. So it's always very satisfying for me to work with the students in the class. I know you are from quite a few countries, and you will learn from each other, and you will get to know, you know, make a lot of friends. I call them your brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. You get to know your friends, and you maintain connections for a very long time in your career. So that's a very enjoyable program for me to do. I really love working in this program. Now, as the academic director, I should probably tell you a little bit about the academic program. The program has been described briefly in the brochures on the website, so you know something about it. It must have been considered to be quite good to you. That's why you're here. So the program is designed for you, for people like you. It offers a specialized area of law, covers international finance, trade, tax, and business transactions. It also covers some comparative law and give you some idea of Canadian law. So at the end of the year, you will feel that you're better equipped in working with international related, business law related areas. But the program, of course, is way more than just teaching you guys international business law. It also offers opportunities to learn some fundamental skills. Every one of you will be encouraged or forced to participate in class, present your materials, communicate with your fellow students, with the instructor. You will be doing writing assignments, you will be doing take-home exams. So there will be a lot of skills that you will develop over the year, working with teammates. All of these are very important professional skills that you need for the future. So the program offers opportunities for that. And these, the courses we offer in the program are not the only courses you take. I'm sure you learned that you can take courses from our JD program. Osgoode is very proud because it has the largest JD curriculum in this country. We have, so there's a lot of choices you can look at. Not every course is suitable to you, but you know there are options available. In this program, the professional program, there are other courses that you may be able to consider taking, and you can consult with Kate. She will give you advice, what is suitable to you. Our goal is to make the program serve you, to make you feel that you learned something, okay? So whatever you think we can help you to learn, just let us know. And Kate, I'm sure she's been doing a wonderful job, will help you achieve your goal, okay? Now the teaching, Chuck and I are two of the instructors. Your professors will be a mix of academic professors like Professor Lee, who just being a full-time professor, or they're real professors like Professor Gasso, who actually practice law and think about the law and then teach law. So we have quite a few instructors like Professor Gasso. They bring a world of experience and insights into the classroom, and you will find their teaching quite stimulating. And you may find the academic professors stimulating for other reasons. But, and I'll be teaching you tax in September. So you have professors who have different styles of teaching, they have different personalities, they may have different expectations of you, but they have one thing in common. They all care about your learning. They're here because they love teaching, they love working with international students. They see their job as helping you learn as much as possible. So do not shy if you see you want to talk to the instructor, you want to get additional help, they're here, we're here to help you, okay? So now there's high expectations of you as well as a student. Some of you may find some part of the program very challenging, okay? Because you have very different background. It is very hard to design a program that suits everybody, okay? If you're from different countries, your law background is different, your language capacity may be different, so it may not work perfectly for everyone all the time. You may find part of it very challenging, and then I'm sure you will overcome the challenge and you will feel very confident afterwards. You are expected to do a lot of reading quite a bit of writing, quite a bit of talking, quite a bit of interaction with the materials. So be prepared to work hard. If you think this is a vacation, this is really the wrong place for you. A lot of reading. And writing may be a challenge, particularly for some of you whose English is second language or third language. So just, be mindful that is a challenge. Pay attention to the readings and talk to the professor and learn to write effectively. If you do not write effectively, you cannot write a paper very well. You cannot do the exam very well. So writing is very key. I think the program offers additional help to people who want to get some help with writing. Okay. And then I just hope the year goes very, very fast, and it will go very, very fast, especially when you're struggling with several assignments at the same time. The time will go very fast. And I do hope you take care of yourself, stay healthy, stay positive, make friends in this room and others, and just have a good time. Okay? Be healthy, be happy, then you learn much more. And at the end of the day, you will find the year is very satisfying for you. And I do hope you have a good time. And feel free talking to me or Kate. Our email address is on the website. You can find us very easily. And so best of luck. And see you in September, if not earlier. Yeah. Whatever I missed, Chuck will pick it up.
Professor Jinyan didn't miss anything, so thank you. First of all, the weather you see outside today is the weather you're going to have all year. So January, the beaches will be open. It'll be great. Be lots of fun, a great place for a vacation. I've taught from the very first class that was here. I always liked teaching this particular class because of how different you all are and how many backgrounds you come from. I teach in various places, such as Hanoi and Cambodia and the south of France, and I've had a lot of contact with foreign students. And I take that into account in the way in which I set my courses and the way in which I teach. But of all the classes I've had, you guys have the greatest mixture of backgrounds and peoples, and you should take advantage of that. You've got as much to learn from each other as you do from us. How many of you are from a civil law jurisdiction? Put up your hands. Civil law? Civil law as opposed to the common law? How many of you have common law? Okay, that's good. That's a good mixture, okay? Because international law, obviously, has to function in terms of both systems. And I find it, one of my fascinations is the way in which those two systems of law interact. And for those of you who are from the civil law jurisdiction, welcome to the common law. Predominantly, that's what you're going to learn here. It may be a different style of teaching. In France, the students don't read anything before class. They read it after the class. And they don't ask questions. And I've always found that challenging. And I can give you examples in other areas of the world where it's different. Here, I also find in certain places that there's a great distance between the professors and the students. There's a very formal barrier between the students and the professor. You don't find that here. We're much more approachable than in some places. At least that's been my experience. And you should take advantage of that, because at times you're going to have things that you're going to wonder about. Things are going to go and talk to your professors, and you'll find that they're very approachable, maybe more approachable than you're used to from your own background and from your own school. This program has been adjusted in terms of the course content, and I think it really does reflect well an international perspective, and that hopefully is what you'll take away from this course at at the end of the year. But my message to you is you're going to have to adjust to a new way of learning. It'll take a little bit of time, so give yourself some time. When you're writing papers, what you'll find is that your professors are looking for what are called analytical papers as opposed to descriptive papers. A description is, this is a room, it has some windows, it's got some walls, it's got a roof, it's got a floor. But in the papers that you'll write for us, they'll be argumentative. You'll make an argument, you'll argue points of view, and that's the difference. And so when you write your paper, you want to make sure that in most courses, and you can talk to your professors about this, you want to make sure that you're making an argument and integrating various ideas. That's really the difference. Now, I don't know what your background is in terms of if you've had experience with that or not, but as I say, if you have any questions at all, speak to your professors, because we are very approachable, and maybe more so than you've been used to. That is about all I have to say, other than I will see you next Tuesday, because I'm teaching you an overview course on international law, and I'll be able to speak to you then if you have any questions or comments about the course. Also, as you go through the course, if you have any questions or comments or any concerns, you're more than welcome to contact me as well. I'm teaching in next week, I'm teaching in October, November, and I'm also involved in the courses in January to March. So I'll sort of be drifting in and out of the class on a regular basis. So.
How would you turn the descriptive piece about the room into an argument?
Into an argument? This room is, this is a terrible room in which to teach a class, because there's such a nice view that all the students, 5 minutes into my presentation, are always looking at the classroom and not looking at me. And I don't believe it's because I'm a very boring person. I think I'm a really good person. I think I make really good arguments. So the problem is not my lectures, it's the room.
Good job.
So we've got, you may have noticed that we're doing a bit of filming out in the hallway. We've got 2 students from last year who are being filmed. Both are on the student panel. And then the dean is also being filmed and will be featured featured on our website later on. So stay tuned for that in the fall.
We can answer questions.
Yeah, so we've got about 10 minutes right now before the panel will start. So yeah, you've got questions.
I got a question. How many of you guys are living up near campus? On campus, close to campus?
Close to
Campus? Up north, up the Kiel campus, okay. How many are living downtown? All right, these ones are the partiers. They're the ones who we have to watch out for. They're the ones who are, how many are down by the entertainment district? Oh, there you go. There's the troublemakers right there. Okay, stay away from them if you want to get a really good, no, I'm just kidding.
Do you have any questions about anything that you think we can answer?
So about the teaching methods,
Yep.
you gave the example of the France. What is the method? I mean, are we supposed to study before the lectures?
Yes. Generally, let me start off with the class I'm going to teach next Tuesday. Don't worry about it. Okay? Take a look through the materials, but don't get worried about it. Okay? I'm going to introduce some ideas to you on Tuesday, just a way to think about law, and the way to think about international law, and whether such a thing even exists when you talk about business, which is a question of mine. But generally, in the way that teaching is done here, is you're expected to have read the materials beforehand. Now, sometimes there'll be a long list of materials, and there'll usually be some key materials that you need to read, and you should really try to read those. there are some classes where you'll actually, and I'm not sure that it'll be, I can only talk about the way that I teach and the way I've seen others. Sometimes people have been picked on and say, okay, what's the point in this particular article, or what's this? Whether or not that happens, I'm not sure the teaching style from the people who will be teaching this specifically. But
It may vary from professor to professor. When you take my course in September, there's a lot of reading you have to do before the class, because I don't imagine everyone is a text expert already. The language, the concept may be so different to you. If you do not read, at least do not read some of it, then coming to the class may be pointless, because I'm not going to repeat what you can read in the materials. I see my job as a classroom teacher is to teach you the things that you cannot easily figure out by reading. So you have to understand that what the professor assume what you should do. My assumption is I tell you what you should read, and I expect you to have read it. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat things that are easy. I'm going to extract things. I'm going to use problems. I'm going to make you work so that you know you get it, right? So if you don't do the reading beforehand, then you will be probably in the dark. And then the time in class will be wasted, will be not very productive. So the assumptions of the professors are very different. If the professor do not assume you do any reading, the professor will give you the basics and then move up. And here, most of the professors assume that you have done the reading, so they will talk about things much higher level or deeper that you will have. You will take time to figure out. Roughly, if you have a 3-hour class, I would say plan at least 5 to 8 hours of reading for it. The speed will pick up. At the beginning, you may find that it's slow moving because you read it, but you don't get it, you want to read it again. And after a few classes, you may find reading a bit easier, but if you cannot read it, let me know. So I won't call you, I won't put you on the spot. But you should be expected to perform, to demonstrate you have done the reading, you've thought about it, and you understand. There are different levels of learning. When Chuck described writing, the basic level is description. You describe what you see, what you hear. And the higher level is analytical. You analyze why. And then you argue, right or wrong, or black and white. The same for learning. If you just read it, you think you understand it, but you may not. So the higher level learning is apply what you learn. You can explain what you have learned. You can solve a problem with what you have learned. So that's a higher level of learning. And this is a graduate school. So of course, it's way higher than the basic level of learning. You read it, and you think you memorize it, you can reproduce it. That's like kindergarten level. This is graduate school. So you're supposed to know the knowledge and use it, apply it. Apply it by communicating, writing, solving problems. Okay? So that's the expectation of most professors, I would say.
you should always come to my class because I give out free beer. But to show you how different the teaching is, I teach in a different way. What I do is I will give you all of my notes ahead of time, and from my class. So you will actually have the notes that I'm using to teach with, and we'll work through the notes together, and the notes will be the basis, and then I'll be drawing examples and other things out of those. And at the end of the year, at the end of every class, I also tape the class, and I also make it available on a website if you want to go over it again. And I do this for every class, no matter where I teach. And I expect you to know and understand what's in my notes, and also, I build from those into other layers. So I expect you will have read the notes and to have understood them, because they'll be made available to you before the lectures, except maybe for next week, because I haven't written them all yet.
Most professors will use PowerPoints, so the slides are posted in advance. So at least you would have the PowerPoints, you know what the professor is covering. There's no surprise what is going to be covered, and then we'll guide your reading if you have it beforehand.
So in terms of reading, the one thing, if you don't read and you don't read for a little while, then you get backlogged, and then it becomes really difficult at the end of the semester. So it's much easier to handle the course if you just stay on top of things and on a weekly basis are doing your readings, as opposed to a week trying to actually compile all the information because you might not be able to do it at one point in time.
Danny has a question. Yeah.
Okay, Jen, I do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what the particular policy was on laptops, because I know back in my JD program it became an issue. I'm not saying I never use it properly, but I know I take all my notes on my laptop. Is that okay with this teachers here?
My principle is that if in the second half of the class, the students are looking at the Toronto Maple Leaf scores on their laptops, I'm doing pretty good. And that's true. I mean, there's one guy, I always lost him at this right after the break because the Maple Leafs game, that's the hockey team that we have. In fact, the reason I started giving out my notes was because I remember teaching this one class, and there were like 40 people in the class. And as soon as I said something, everybody's heads went down and everybody started typing. I felt like I was in the middle of a typing pool. So I said, wait a minute, I'll give you my notes if you listen. And that's the reason why I'm giving you my notes, is so that you will listen. So, I mean, you can use your computer any way you want in my class. I don't really care. Just don't check the Maple Leaf scores in a way that I can see, otherwise we may have words.
Yeah, so the same for me and for, I think, others as well. If you have the PowerPoints printout in advance and you have the soft copy in the computer, you can take notes, you can do whatever. But the key is eye contact, so the instructor knows that you are following. So if everybody's keeping their head down, then it's very difficult for the instructor to know what's going on, whether anything gets through. So as long as you are aware of the dynamics in the classroom, that's fine. So using whatever tools that work for you, it's okay.
The other thing is you can challenge the professor. If you think the professor's at lunch and doesn't really know what he's talking about, go ahead, challenge me. You can say that here. There are certain, like in Southeast Asia, where I've taught down there, that the students would never really challenge the professors in a serious way. But here, because that's a great way to bring out a point. If there's something you don't agree with, put up your hand and argue the point. And if you do that, there's probably 3 or 4 other people in the room who are thinking the same thing, but they're just not willing to say anything. And the other thing is that the only bad question is one that's not asked. If you have a question and you're embarrassed to raise your hand, you all want to be lawyers, and so you have to get over that really quickly, because your profession will be, once you start practicing law, will be a series of asking dumb questions at the wrong time. So the classroom should be a safe place in which, if you have a point that you want to make, please make it. If you want to argue a point with the professor, argue the point with the professor, and you'll probably, everybody in the room, including the professor, may learn something as a result.
Other questions? Those are good questions. Any other questions?
Do you guys have any questions besides the program about anything that's gone on so far today, or anything that's going to be happening tomorrow, or with the schedule?
Best nightclub in town?
Speak to Anthony, he'll be able to play.
Where do we meet at the Canadian campus tomorrow?
So tomorrow the agenda is at 10 a.m. and we'll be meeting in room 1004. Do you have the at Keele campus? So you guys know tomorrow you guys are not. You're only coming here if you're coming at 8:15 a.m. I believe to meet Kate so that you can go to Keele campus. Otherwise, if you live near Keele campus, don't come up here. We're meeting at Keele campus tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. sharp, and it's room 1004 in the Osgood Hall building.
It's not a huge building. It's just that room numbers are numbered that way.
You'll be on the main.
There are not 1,000 rooms in the, in the building.
1004. There's like 6 or 7 rooms on the first floor. So so that'll be 10 a.m. sharp. You guys all did actually. I was very impressed. You guys did a really good job today being here at 11. It was really good to see. So yeah, let's try to do that again tomorrow, because tomorrow there's actually less time to deal with things than there is today. And there's a lot of things we have to get you guys tomorrow on campus, like your York U card, and if you guys need a parking pass, any of that kind of stuff. So we really have to get going at 10 a.m.
In order to get the university card, should we bring anything with us, like banner?
A smile.
Yeah. Smile, did you need photo ID when you picked it up? Your York U card? Yeah, so bring photo ID tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay?
There are a few things that you may want to be aware of when you're in a group setting. Often people have similar ideas. People start talking at the same time. So it will be good to keep good order. If you want to talk, indicate you want to talk, raise your hand, or keep the chairperson indication that you want to talk. Otherwise, it could be chaotic, waste a lot of time. In teaching in my class, you will see in other classes. If you have a point, let the professor know that you want to talk. And one voice at the same time in the room is good. Most people don't like group talking in different directions. That's not good.
I'm not sure if you can answer this, but I know back in programs in England, they made the schedule around the fact that you play university level sports. So was that also, I'm just saying, in your opinion, was that, if I want to try, I'll just say for your soccer team and all that, were the schedules made would take into account their thing, or no, just?
But I think that only happened in England because of the Olympics. I think they're back to normal again.
No, not, I mean, commercial, I mean, for us to actually play, I'm not talking about intramural, I mean, us playing, just say I think to try for one of the university teams, is the schedule built around that? Because again, I'm just.
The short answer is no.
Okay.
I can give you a long argument why not, but no, the scheduling doesn't take into consideration of that. Yeah. I guess, are they ready to come in, the panel?
I think there are still, do you want to check your?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Yeah.
So for the first few months, we have classes every day from morning to.
I think you just follow the schedule, whatever the schedule says.
Yeah, so you don't.
Yeah.
If you look at the schedule, you don't.
Yeah.
So, well, so in August is a little different, because you have an intense.
August is every day for the peeps, yeah, for some people,
But if you
yeah.
take a look at September.
My classes are generally at 8:30 on Saturday mornings.
And then you
Yeah.
12, 1, 4.
No.
So this is like a
Just
set,
kidding.
center, we don't have any electives ever.
So you will be adding on electives. You're going to be doing, so if you notice in your package, there is a form for you guys to fill out and return to Ariella by, is there a date on there? Yeah, this sheet right here, this is for you guys to choose your electives. And it's requesting that you return this form to Ariona by next Monday. By Monday, August 27th. August 20th, this is something that you haven't seen yet other than on the schedule. If you look at your schedule right now, on August 22nd and August 24th, there are 2 days reserved for you guys to have 20-minute meetings with Kate. And Kate will work with you on choosing the courses, because different courses have different availability for the IBL students. So you'll be sitting down with her to confirm those, and then the final choices have to be given in to Ariona by August the 27th. All right, and we're gonna have a chance for you guys to sign up for those days tomorrow, I believe, either tomorrow or Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But yes, you will have electives. Is it 2 electives that take?
I think one in the fall management.
Yeah, so you will have the opportunity to take some electives.
I have a question. I can see that here's the list of the required courses that we're going to take. However, in the schedule, I can see that we already taken an elective course, business association. Does that mean that elective is not elective because it's already?
It is an elective, but it's a suggested one.
Oh, I
So
see.
like you see, we're fitting the schedule.
Oh, I see. Okay, perfect.
So if I understand correctly, then basically, they don't have to take that class, but it's highly
highly
recommended that all of you do.
Okay.
And so if they do take that class, does that mean they don't have an elective? for
That's
the
right,
fall?
that would be the elective.
Okay.
So we will choose one elective.
You'll be choosing, you will have one for the fall and one for the winter, but I believe the point of the form is to pick your order of preference. Sorry?
Especially for JD courses.
Yeah. But again, it's highly recommended that you take
Yeah.
that course. So, yeah. Other questions? That is legal research and writing. So it's written, I just shortformed it after that. There you go. Yeah. So the question was, what's the difference between a course and a seminar? So
That's a good question. What's the difference?
I think this course is more lectures and the seminar is more discussion. What do you think?
For the graduate level, it doesn't really matter. For the JD program, the courses and seminars are very different. Courses tend to be covering basic courses materials, and they tend to be lecture based. And the class tend to be bigger. There are more students in the classroom. Seminars are kept at 25 students maximum. It often deals with a very specialized area of the law. For instance, if you take intellectual property, it will be a course. If you take theoretical approaches to copyright law, that would be a seminar. Yeah. And seminars are evaluated by writing a paper, courses often by exam. Take-home exam, often just open book exam. Yeah, 4 credit for courses, 3 for seminar for students. Yeah, it doesn't concern you too much. I think you guys, when you choose the JD courses, choose the subject, choose the professor. Whether it's a course or seminar shouldn't matter too much.
And the other thing is about papers, it's something I feel really strongly about. You shouldn't be worried about writing papers. What you should do is find something that you're really interested in. And you should be able to do that within the context of the course. And write something that interests you. And instead of writing an exam on a whole bunch of things that don't particularly interest you, you have an opportunity to pick something that you want to look at. And to me, I mean, that's the way you should go at it. Find something that you're interested in. Find a point of view and argue the point of view.
Tommy, you had a question?
Yeah, I noticed that there's only business associations have the period is from September 10th to December 10th, but the other courses they don't have that. How would I know?
Oh, the JD. So the business associations course is a course that is being run here. What we found in the past is that there's been so many students who want to do business associations that we couldn't actually fit everybody into the JD courses because there's already a lot of JD students in those. So we're running business associations here on those dates that are indicated. The other JD courses run from, and in the blurb prior, at the beginning of that little sheet that I gave you, it says, JD courses run from September 4th to December, whatever the date is, in the fall, and from January, whenever, to March, whenever in the winter. And what we've listed are the weekdays and the times when they're offered. So you have to, look at the beginning of that little blurb. Can I take it? Can I borrow this for a second? Okay, so on the second page, where it says elective courses, JD courses, and seminars, in the 4th paragraph, it says fall 2012 JD courses begin the week of September 4th and end December 7th, 2012. So if you look at, for example, conflicts of law, Wednesday and Friday, it's within that period of time. Does that make sense? Okay. The other thing I should let you know is that and I should have double checked it before we gave it to you, but since we compiled this list, some of the times for the JD courses have changed. They used to be sort of TBA, and then we filled in the blanks the other day. They now actually, a couple of them conflict with the required courses in this program, unfortunately. So there are some courses that you will not be able to take just because of the conflicts. There are others where, there's one class that conflicts, and maybe we can try to work around that if you really want to take the course. Yeah.
If some of the students were thinking about staying in Canada,
Yeah.
Which courses, if any, should they consider from the standpoint of having to avoid one or more of the NCA exams?
If you are interested in practicing law in Canada, you will have to go through what's called the National Committee of Accreditation process to become qualified as a lawyer. What you should take are, well, we offer offer a course the first course you take is Introduction to Canadian Law that counts as Foundations in Law, which is a required course by the NCA. So you can actually get that credit through the required program. JD courses you should take are administrative law, possibly business associations, depending on whether you would have to take that from the NCA. And I think those are the only ones that we actually offer through the IDL program. There are other courses that are offered at the law school, but not to students here. The other thing that you should know, if you're interested in practicing law in Canada, is that we do have an NCA prep course that we run in November, December, and January for June, July. And students in this program can take that for free, although it doesn't give you the credit.
We have to wrap up. I know there's still a couple of questions left. We're going to do the alumni panel now, and then after the alumni panel, we're going to be at a reception where there'll be lots of opportunities to chat with all of us, and as well tomorrow we'll be doing an academic session as well.
The other thing is during the alumni panel, we have set questions, but we can also deal with other questions while the other students are up here. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Do it that way. That way we don't run completely out of time.
If your expectations are too high, I'm sure other people feel the way.
More like Elvis.
I think Kate would like you to see.
Have a sit, please.
We'll stay with that.
It's really hot in here. I can take those. Okay, I would like to introduce you to our panel of alumni. These are students who, it's actually really funny that, it just feels like this has all been so quick, because as of like a month ago, these were the current students of the program, or a month and a half ago, and some of them are still doing their internships, and we're still sort of working together. So the year goes by quickly. We've got Rachel Omalog, who's from, did I pronounce that correctly? Oh, sorry, Omologe, from Nigeria. Chris Gayton from Mexico. Samantha Huang, did I do that correctly? Or? Yeah. Okay, from China. And Kasim, Chima from Pakistan. And they are all wonderful students and wonderful people. And so I thought they should have come prepared with answers to the questions that I sent out about a week ago. And if you have questions, please feel free to interrupt and ask them as we go along. This is not necessarily a formal thing. So my first question was, are you happy that you completed the program? Because I thought that would be a question that I'd want to know if I were coming. And what was the greatest benefit provided to you by the International Business Law program? Who wants to start?
Well, obviously, I mean, finishing the degree was a big achievement. It felt like a big achievement, especially at the graduation day. It was like, wow, you've done something really big. Indeed, it is, no doubt. Masters on your CV looks great. But regarding the second part of the question, the biggest achievement,
benefit. Yeah.
I think I would have to say that the relationships that you build during this, that you will build during this 1 year that you're going to spend over here, is going to be one of the biggest benefits that you will take throughout your life. I mean, it's an international program. You all are from different countries, and you never know when in the future, when you're working at a law firm or in-house somewhere, you might need a contact in China and Saudi Arabia, and I don't know from which country you guys are from. So that is going to be something very valuable that you will take forward.
Any other thoughts?
Well, yes. First of all, I'm glad I graduated from this program. I have no regrets whatsoever. One of the greatest benefits is the opportunity to participate in the internship program. It's so hard to have a place to work, not the minimum pay job, like a real work, and then Osgood is providing you the opportunity to be involved in internship, which if you do well could lead to something great. So I think there's nothing compared to that. That's a great benefit, I must tell you. Also, it's very challenging because it's among yourselves, you're competing. So you just have to, take it seriously if you intend to stay back here and work here. Yeah, you should put that into consideration.
Yeah, it was a very serious comment.
Well, okay, what can I say? First of all, I think this program is a really good combination because you're going to work hard, but you're going to have a lot of fun too. It was my personal experience. When I first came here, I couldn't imagine I will finish this fast, so it's going to pass really, really quick. So take advantage of that, enjoy your friendships, enjoy your classes, everything, but don't forget to work hard because that's actually what you are doing here. So it's a perfect combination for me and for life. It's about enjoy and it's about work hard. So personally, I had really, really good experience here and I'm so happy.
Yeah. Actually, I still feeling the sadness of finishing this program. I keep begging GMB and Chuck and everyone. They can bring me back. is too short. So the point I want to make is that you should cherish every single second when you're studying this program. It's very difficult to define which is the biggest benefit from this program. It changes you from top to the toe, changes you from inside and outside. To be honest, I used to be a very responsible kids, who kids my parents off like at least 3 times per day. Yeah, when I came here in this program, I need to learn to manage myself, self-management, multiple task management. Soon you will find out that so many courses you need to study, so many classes you need to learn, and so many papers you need to write, and the deadlines keep chasing you like a shark. Yeah, to be honest, that's true. And I learned from my painful personal experiences. Don't mess up with the deadlines. Kate is nice, but when it comes to deadlines,
she's not so nice.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. So the most important thing is you need to learn to how to learn about the priority management. There's so many things you need to do. There's so many things you have to do. So many events, functions you want to run. But somehow you should figure out that the priority here this year is to finish this program and learn as much as possible from the lectures, make use of the libraries, study with your teammates. I agree that Rachel's using the competing to describe this program. However, I would rather put it competing with yourself. You are making progress every day. You are a better person. You will realize that you're a better person than 1 month later, 2 months later, and at this time tomorrow, next year you know, oh, I grew up a lot. And when it comes to your class fellow, to my personal experiences is cooperation is more important, especially when you're divided into the local teams for Chuck's lectures. There's so many sleepless nights. I work hard with my teammates, no matter staying at the classroom, in the library, or through the internet, Skype, everything. It's really precious and unforgettable experiences, and you need those experiences to smooth yourself into the real world, real business, real legal practicing world. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, in addition to everything everyone has said, one benefit you get here as being a student at the program here is your student card comes with 3,000 free printing. No other Masters of Law. So for your papers and everything, you can print as much as you want because you have to do a lot of editing. Don't consider the distance of going. The subway is very good and the buses are good too. So you should take advantage of all that. Yeah. Instead of going to Staples and spending money to print out your assignments and buying printers and things like that. You can just make very good use of it.
Yeah. We'll go over. Yeah, it's a lot.
I still have, a lot to get. It is, yeah.
We'll go over details. Yeah, go for it.
How many of you are actually going to or already staying here in Canada to practice law?
Currently, a lot of us, we're at more than half of the class we're in the process of doing that. Myself, I am in the process of doing that. Yeah. So I'll be writing my examination in a couple of months. Yeah.
So can you how many courses you need to take?
Okay, good question. Yeah, you have the first course you'll be taking, the Foundation to Canadian Legal System. That's one of the compulsory courses of the National Committee on Accreditation, the body in charge of assessing your credentials. And you have an option around selecting admin law, because that's another compulsory course. So if you intend to practice here, you should take admin law.
Admin law?
Yes, admin law. Yeah. Yeah, and when you're done, you will be exempted from those 2 courses.
It depends. Yeah. Right.
In addition, also for those who are from a civil law jurisdiction, I think it's a different route. If you apply to the NCA, you might get more courses, all the common law courses. But if you're from a common law jurisdiction, then you'll have to assess your file, and probably you might be given 4 or less. I got 2. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're interested in practicing law in Canada and have questions, I'm happy to answer them actually. But just as Rachel mentioned, everybody's file is different and everybody's file has to be assessed by the National Committee of Accreditation. So what you do is you submit an application, they figure out how many exams they want you to write. If you've done a common law degree in certain countries, then you might just have to write 4, and if you take this program, that means you might actually just have to write 2. But if you're from a civil law jurisdiction, they might actually tell you you have to go back to law school. They might tell you have to write 10 exams or more. So it varies dramatically. But we can discuss that, and if there's enough interest, we could have a sort of a separate group meeting for those people who are interested in learning about that process.
Yeah, also just interested on which one of you 4 are going to stay here to practice law.
I am.
Actually, I'm unfortunately from the civil law system country, China, and it's really tough for me to finish the NCA or enroll in JD course right now. Somehow I am doing my internship at a Chinese law firm, which is specialized in real estate law, and my mentor told me that it's when it comes to some specific area about law practice, it doesn't necessarily require you to have a fancy degree or something like that. That's your basic knowledge about that part of that area of law. That's what matters. So there's many jobs and careers related to law. So don't be frustrated if you can write an essay thing on the bar stand right now, right here, right now. If you happen someday, just keep yourself get involved in this circle and keep practicing. You will fix things out one day.
Should we move on to the next question? We're going to run out of time. We're only on question number 1. What was the greatest challenge you faced during your year as a student?
I have to go first every time?
No, you don't. We can start from the other side. And not everybody has to answer every single question if you don't want to.
Well, my initial reaction was Chuck's. I think I'll leave it for Chuck to give that. That's a surprise for you all. So you'll get to know that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's good. Anybody else have thoughts? If you don't want to.
I guess it's the papers, like the deadlines. You have to plan accordingly because sometimes you say like, I have 2 months to write my paper, right? But once you start working on it, it passes like that. So last week you are working 24 hours and you can't even finish. So that's what the most challenging part for me. Plan accordingly, start working since the first day hard, and then you're gonna have a good job at the end.
Yeah, for me, it was keeping up with the readings. It's a lot of readings. You have to do a lot of readings. You have to set time for yourself to focus on all that. Because you have to read before every class. So you're not lost when your professor is right in front of you. So I think you should tell yourself, this is how I'm going to, I have my own personal timetable. I have to stick to it, and you have to discipline yourself. You have binders and textbooks. It's a lot. But it's easy. Yeah, it is.
Just for you now, I mean, when you are involved in that course, is it easy for you?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I wouldn't say it was very easy for me because, first of all, I live very far away from here. And I had to make sure, I came here because of this program. Anything below excellent was not an option for me. So I had to discipline myself. I had to tell myself, yes, you have to do this. This is why you're here. You're not buying books. Every material, every resource you need is right there in your pocket. So you should. It's very intensive, but it's fun. It is.
Okay.
If I could just add one thing. For me, the biggest problem was that I came in very late. I came in when we almost, I think not almost, we definitely finished one one course, the Foundation of Intro to Canadian Law. It's an intensive course, 3-day long course, and we finished it. So for me to catch up with the class was a big task. And why I'm saying this for you guys to know that you guys are lucky to be here on time, right? So when you're here on time, and I was looking at the agenda of today's agenda and tomorrow's agenda, I was like, how come I missed this much? And how come this is an excellent time for you guys to develop the bonds between all of you, to get to know each other when there's not too much stress of studies, right? So make the most out of this time that you have right now.
Third question. What resources do you suggest that students use during their year of study? That could be York resources, Osgoode resources, Osgoode professional development resources, other resources. Is there something that you would suggest?
There is the Great Library. You have lawyers go there to do research. You can talk to them. You can talk to the.
Can I interrupt for a second? So the Great Library, you were at Osgoode Hall, or you were downtown at Osgoode today, where the Heart of the Appeal is. The Great Library is located in that building. It's beautiful. You should have had at least a peek in, and they've got a fantastic selection of resources there. If you're located, if you don't want to, there's a great library at Osgoode, which is pretty much the library that you're supposed to normally be using and where all of the resources are generally held. But if you happen to be downtown and want to locate something, you can go to the Great Library. You need to go through security in order to get in. You can't take anything out. You can photocopy stuff out.
And also, we have sessions of, we have questions.
Sorry, you didn't get that. You say you can or you can't?
You can take any.
You can photocopy. It's expensive. I warn you. I would suggest using your printing account rather than photocopying at the Great Library. But if you are downtown and want to look something up, it's still a good place to go.
In addition, there are a couple of times where they have at the main campus, they have various sessions, seminars, and how to write resume and cover letters. And they send you guys emails. You should attend the sessions. They're very helpful. Yeah.
Move on. Okay, good. Yeah. What is one thing you didn't do during your time in the International Business Law program that you wish you had done? Like a particular way of studying, or a course, or a tourist attraction in Toronto? Is there something that comes? If there's something that comes to mind, you have not to answer.
I don't know how many of you are living on campus, but I was, I think, one of the only 2 people in our class who were living on campus. And there are a lot of very vibrant and active communities on campus. I think my only regret would be I was not that very much active on many of those. So if you are living on campus, so try to involve yourself over there as well.
For me, I realized I should have made friends with those JD students. Yeah, because I led 2 courses, and one is in the early morning in the winter. I was too tired to mingle with anyone. So I feel regret now. I should make friends with them because JD students are so smart and they work really hard. Don't take the chance when you are taking a course to make friends with them. They are really nice. They look a little bit hard to get close at the very first beginning, but once you open the door, they are really nice. And for the girls, there is a yoga course every Monday. That's free. Yeah, right in the Osgoode Hall Library. So make good use of it.
I think it's open to all sexes. It's not just for girls, but I think maybe that's the primary truth.
That's how it is.
What elective course did you find most interesting
think for me, commercial law was really challenging but very interesting. And advice for electives will be you have to do a good research. Because personally, I have really trouble to get to have a good performance with the JD courses. Because all the students are local, right? And we are like international students. It's challenging and it's really good. It's really nice because it's you have to work harder. But I think if you make a good research for every course, and you decide what is the more suitable for you, will be a good advice. And yeah, and commercial law for me, it was completely different legislation because I'm coming from a civil law jurisdiction, and here is a common law. So it was really challenging for me. I had to go to the basics to understand actually how was the legal system. It was fun, but it was really, really challenging. So yeah, make research and ask past students. You know, if you ask to the past generations, you can ask me, and I'm sure you can ask them which courses are you taking, what you suggest, and we can tell you about the content, how about the professors as well, and you can find better resources to make your choice.
For me, the first term, I had two electives, Business Association and International Commercial Dispute Resolution. I don't have arbitration, so I have to take that. For Business Association, almost every other week, we have a new professor coming in. He's from a team of one of the biggest big law firms, like big law firm. So you get the chance to meet the lawyers whom on a normal day you will not be able to talk to. So if they come to meet you, you can talk to them, they give you the cards. So I think that was very interesting for me, and we still keep in touch with some of the lawyers. For international commercial dispute resolution, it was more like a moot court kind of course. You have to participate, like it was practical, which is good. If you're the kind of person that don't like to talk and you just like to hide in your shell, you have to speak because that's your mark looking at you. So it was fun as well. I'm not saying you should go take those courses. You know what you want, you know why you're here.
Which course are you from?
Sorry?
Business Association.
The first is Business Association. International Commercial Dispute Resolution. Yeah.
Was that this seminar in the winter time, or is it a course or a seminar?
No, it's a course. It's one of the masters. So it's one of the masters courses.
Because there we have, because I saw on the list of the page that we have a course, winter JD, and we have this LLM course.
It's under the LLM.
Pardon?
It's under the LLM.
Yeah, we have this year, now the courses change every year, just to let you know as well. So this year, international commercial arbitration course that you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that course is an intensive being offered from December 9th to 12th.
Okay, that's on the right, this LLM.
Yeah, one of the professional LLM courses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that different to that, or what's the difference then to this seminar in the JD course?
I would actually have to go and look at the course descriptions a little bit, but you know, the courses, the professional LLM courses are a bit different from the JD courses in that they're intended for people who've been practicing law for a couple of years. They tend to be a little bit more challenging, actually. One is taught here and is an intensive. The other, I think, is just a regular. I'd have to look again, but it's a regular weekly course taught up at Osgood, if I'm not mistaken. We can talk. Yeah.
For winter, it's admin law. It's a very boring course. Admin law. Yeah, because if you plan to write the NCA exam, you have no choice but to take it. Yeah, the good thing is you have to study. Because when your credentials are going to NCA, you need to give them excellent grades. So you have no choice but to be there
course that was very, if not the best course that I took was elective, which was ADR, Alternate Dispute Resolution. And I hear from Victoria that even in previous batches to us, it was like the most famous course, and everyone enjoyed it, whoever took it. So that's a very good course, ADR, Alternate Dispute Resolution.
We've got
All that one and
yeah, the theory and practice of dispute resolution. That's another one of the professional LLM courses being offered at the moment.
Chris mentioned about commercial law. So I also took commercial law, but to a different professor. So you might want to talk to him or me or the or someone over here which professor is the better one or what his experience is. So I think that would be very useful if you're interested in commercial law.
And did all of you this course, this business associations course, which seems to be recommended? Or, so okay.
No, you don't have to take the course.
Okay.
Yeah. We offer it because the demand is very high for business associations. Well, it's Canadian Business Associations, but the instructors who are all practitioners at Bennett Jones, which is one of the large pastry firms in Toronto, they also are incorporating more international aspects of business into the course. So it's primarily covers Canadian business associations, but it also has a more international aspect than the JD course does. But it's not required as part of the program.
For me, I have a very specific interest in securities regulation and finance. So I don't know whether any of you have the same interest as I do. But if you are not interested at these two courses, it's okay because the two most interesting courses of this program is DNA's taxation law and Chuck's WTO law. Did you have this course this year? Yeah. And Chuck has a very unique way to put the boring WTO law into a really funny way. Yeah, every Tuesday night, if I do remember it wrong, it's Tuesday night or Wednesday? Tuesday night, it's like when I getting prepared for the conference, okay, I'm ready for a party. I'm going to be praised some beautiful music to cheer us up. And as for Professor Lee's taxation law, it's scheduled on every Friday, but somehow because having reading assignment and preparation for the presentation and answers to the question, I seldom sleep before the class. I have to confess. I started working that afternoon because I have other classes to run, and I started working on this Tuesday afternoon, and then stayed all the night, and I came to the class. But magically, I didn't feel a teeny tiny feeling that I'm really sleepy. It's amazing. Yeah, the course is so interesting, and Professor Lee is a fabulous professor. Even though you are dying inside, you still feel the energy to survive.
Okay, that was lively. Do you suggest that students participate in the internship program?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I think it's one of the best parts of the course that they offer. You can get networking, you can get connection, you can get experience, and actually if you want to stay here, it's a very good opportunity to start actually your career, right? And I know that it's very difficult to go through the interviews and all this process, but the staff is very helpful. We get a lot of help from them, how to prepare your curriculum, your cover letters, and to learn about the firms and everything. It's a really, really helpful program, so I recommend take.
Even if you don't intend to, stay back in Canada, it's helpful for your resume to have Canadian work experience. It is good. You should take advantage of it.
What advice do you have? This is sort of being an international student, but this is not focusing on your classes, so more about maximizing your experience in Toronto. How do you, this is a big question. Maybe somebody can answer it. If not, we'll move on.
The biggest problem of being a foreigner here is not being of status. So you shouldn't overlook that part of it. Some of you come here and your visa is just issued for a month. You should make sure at any point in time you're in status, you have your permit, your visa at all times, because you don't know what will happen next. I'm not saying anything is going to happen, but it's just, you're just being cautious.
And also it's very usual that as an international students, we get together with the same culture. Like, I'm Spanish, right? And I go with the Spanish speakers, and the Chinese go with Chinese. And yeah, it's like that. It's normal. We feel attracted for our same culture. So I would recommend you to try to interact with other cultures because it's really good. You learn about the culture, the food, even in business, even like the legal system, all this stuff. So I would recommend you to try not to get stuck with your own culture and try to diversify your activities. That's helpful.
So what is a good place here in Toronto to get to know the local students right now together?
Well, you're going to be with them in the courses, if you take some JD courses.
Yeah, but outside of the university, how do you do this? Like, you get to know.
I mean, you can go just outside, but if you go to school to Kiel campus, for example, they have a lot of activities, and most of the community are local. So if you get involved with, I don't know, associations, and every activity they have, I think it's a good opportunity. Even if you are into sports, for example, you can go to some sports and you get in contact with them outside the academic relationship.
So I think a lot of activities actually happen in campus.
Yes, there are a lot of that, yeah. Especially in York University. You have to get involved in York campus because it's a huge community and they have like a lot of activities. So when you are here, you are not actually like very involved with that because you just meet with this the people that is here. But you take a chance to go there and go to the website and get involved, and you have the right to get to an activity. So yeah, that's a good.
There's also, I mean, if you're interested beyond York, there's lots of stuff going on in Toronto generally.
Yeah.
You know, just as an example, I play ultimate frisbee in a league called the Toronto Sport and Social Club, which is open to anybody. So you know, there's lots of. If you have I sing as well, and I join choirs in Toronto. That you could also join if you were a singer. There's lots of stuff going on in Toronto if you're interested in becoming involved. The one thing, and I think this is the same in any big city. Big cities sometimes feel like big cities when you arrive and you're an international student and you don't know people. And the best way, at least in my experience, to meet people is to actually join activities where you meet people through those activities. So sports, clubs. Whatever your interest is, you know, a religious group, something where, you know, it's easier to meet people through that kind of thing than to just show up at a bar and expect that you're going to make friends doing that. Yes, David.
And just to go a little bit on what Christopher was saying, at Osgoode, at Kiel campus, there's about 100 to 150 different clubs that range in anything from social justice to specific cultural clubs. And those clubs meet frequently. They all have different activities going on. Something that the class of 2012 for IBL wasn't privy to. There was still a big transition at the start of last year at Osgoode Kiel campus because the new building was just being renovated. Now, every Thursday night, there will be pub nights in the JCR on campus at Osgoode. So every Thursday night, there's a pub that is just exclusively for Osgoode students that you're able to go to. And like I said, if there's any club that you want, and if there are clubs that you would like to be a part of and they're not offered at Osgoode, you at least have the ability to approach the Legal and Lit, the student government, and see what you can do about getting those started.
There's also, through the Bar Association, there are associations of lawyers. I know there's one South Asian association, and we had a lawyer from Korea firm, and she was a member of it. And I went and had a chance to attend some of their events, and it's terrific. And all of the associations that are run through the Law Society or through the OBA, the Ontario Bar Association, they all have student programs, and they all have student rates and things. And so you can take a look at the Ontario Bar Association. If any of you are interested in that, Southeast Asian one that I was talking about, I'll be happy to introduce you to Rosa. But so if you wanted to look beyond the students and actually begin to look at the practice of law, there are ways that you can do that as well, and you'd be welcome with open arms. And what you'll find is that people in Toronto and the lawyers in Toronto are so interested in you and your background that they'll really be interested in where you're from and what you're doing, and then they'll start talking about the vacation that they once took there, and this happens all the time, and so you'll be welcomed with open arms. You'll probably be surprised at how welcome you will be.
If I can, I may add, I highly suggest, recommend that you guys should take some volunteer job, and to really know about a country law society, not just from fancy Bay Street, King Street. You need to know something which is not so happening in this society, and take some volunteer jobs. For one thing, you know, you have the chance to help, to give your hands to people in need. For the other thing, it keeps you thinking that still there's a lot of rooms to make improvement for a country, for a society, even for yourself.
Yes, Kate. At the school, this fall term, you're going to be taking the tax course on the main campus on Fridays. Fridays is one of the law school seminar days. So Wednesdays, Fridays, all the seminars at the law school are open to everyone. Very often there's food and drinks. They're all free. So after my tax class, if there's a seminar, you can just go into the seminar, have something to eat, and enjoy the speakers. Because often the speakers are leading thinkers, researchers, or there's some student event. So you're all welcome to join. And just check the event calendar on the law school website. You will see what's going on each week. And there's no tickets required. Nobody will check your ID. Just walk in, find out what it is, and then go. You'll be welcome. And if they need the RSVP to reply, because they need to know how many people are going to eat the food, you should let the organizer know. Otherwise, if our whole class go and eat all the food, then the people who said they were going would have nothing to eat. So if they need the RSVP, then you send an email to the person, organizer, and say, I'm coming, so that they know how much to prepare.
Should we do one more question and then I think wrap it up? Right. Do you have any advice for the incoming class that you wish you had been given at the beginning of last year?
For me, well, if someone had told me, Rachel, don't travel during the period of your studies, probably I would have stayed behind and traveled. Classes ended in March, and April was pretty set up. Probably I could take my books with me and go to the States and travel to other places in Canada. So I was in a North American tour, and it affected me. If I stayed behind and completed, my work and everything, I'm sure I would have been happier. I regret that. Probably in April. That's not good. So I encourage you guys. It's a one-year program. Very short. Stay, complete it. Between the end of the program and your internship, sometimes your internship will start probably July or June. You can take up probably a month after all your papers have been handed in, and you can take up and do what you have to do. Not while you're in school. No, I wouldn't recommend anyone to take a trip anywhere.
I second that. We're not recommend April for traveling.
Well, I did take part-time job, but not while school was in session. I took it just during the break, like seasonal position during the Christmas holiday. Yeah, not 12 hours in class, and I couldn't handle both. It's hard, you can't do both. One has to take the lead. Yeah. It is. You will work, don't worry.
Well, it's good that you mentioned part-time jobs because I would take this question in another way, that one of the very valuable advices that I got when I just came was manage your funds properly. I don't know how many of you guys would be doing part-time jobs, or but if you are not working this 1 year, manage your funds in a very good, in a reasonable, sensible manner. It's easy to go with the flow. Don't get me wrong. This is 1 year. You should explore. You should be very active. You should go out, but keep a track of it. Try to keep a budget.
We're good? Okay. That's, oh, sorry?
So I was going to ask if you want to have any questions.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. It's 5:15, and we're going to start the fun part, the reception. Reception is from now until, I don't know, 6:30-ish, 7-ish. And then if there is interest, we've got a pub that we've reserved space at if people want to go for dinner and drinks afterwards. If you're exhausted from the day, that's fine too. And we will resume tomorrow morning. As I mentioned, we're going up to Osgood for a 10 o'clock session with me, and the room number is on the agenda. If you want to come here, I will be meeting here at 8:15, 8:20, leaving at 8:30 sharp, and you can head up to Osgood on the summer with me. Any questions before we disperse? Thank you, panel. Okay, let's get ready. Oh wait, sorry. Whoops. 1 second. We actually have textbooks and the course outline for the course that's starting on Wednesday, the Introduction to Canadian Law course. This is an intensive course, and normally we give you your textbooks more in advance of 2 days, but it is what it is. Tomorrow's going to be busy too, but you'll get the course readings for the classes. If you can muster it, please read in advance of Wednesday as much as you can. For the Introduction to Canadian Law course, because it's an intensive course at the beginning of the year, there is a fair bit of room to actually complete the assignment for the course. So you sort of can take some more time after the course finishes to actually absorb the material. We've got the textbooks and the course outlines here, so why don't, before we can make a line as you exit the room, we'll just hand everybody a textbook. Hopefully you have a bag.
send me an email, the outline that you want, send it to me today. I should have some thoughts to you. I'm gonna give myself to the end of the week, about somehow. And if you really need a bunch more, just say so.
I just need to get how
Okay, 36 hours, 7 days, 18 hours.
they already know.
Right. 6 hours. Yes, we were together. You know, there's border measures that should be talked about. Because we don't spend enough time on border measures. And I just felt 6 hours on border measures, 6 hours on, you can do international business transactions as it impacts the WTO. And that's what, international investment, only from the standpoint of indicating the limits of what the WTO does and does not do, and where you have to rely on other areas of law. What else? So you can do a trade negotiation. That would be fun. And I'd have to hope people in to do that. That would be fun. That would be an intensive, like a 3-day intensive. That would be a lot of fun. And guys who were involved in the negotiations and did the negotiations and retired, this is what they've done. I could easily play their negotiations. Well, I wouldn't teach them, the other guys who were regular. And I think that would be a whole lot of fun. That's something I've never done, I've never seen. I just know about it. I always thought it was really fascinating. Because they actually do mock negotiations, I think.
Okay, well, I'll send you an email and then you send back to the director. You know, I have no idea if these people are lawyers.
We can, as long as they have a facility in the English language for a good translator, we can, because I've done it for